Remember those long summer drives across the Midwest? Windows down, the hum of the highway pulling you towards some roadside beacon that promised fried comfort and a break from the ordinary? Places where the neon flickered like old fireflies, and the air inside carried the unmistakable scent of sizzling beef or bubbling batter spots that weren't just eateries, but little anchors in a world that felt bigger back then. I'm talking about the restaurant chains of the 1960s, those bright threads in the fabric of American road life, where families gathered over plates that tasted like adventure. They rose like shooting stars in the post-war glow, feeding our wanderlust and our appetites, only to fade into memory, leaving behind a quiet ache for what once was. Today, let's wander back through 10 of them chains that captured our hearts before slipping away. What if one of these was your first taste of independence, or the backdrop to a story you still tell? We'll start with White Tower, the granddaddy of the burger bunch. Born in 1926 in Milwaukee, but hitting its stride in the 1950s and 60s, it was the clean, no-nonsense king of the 5-cent hamburger. Picture those pristine white castles dotting city streets, their porcelain towers gleaming under streetlights, a promise of purity in a greasy world. You'd slide into a booth, the Formica cool under your elbows, and order a Tower Burger small steamed patty on a poppy seed bun, with that faint, steamy whisper rising from the grill as the counterman flipped it just right. It was the ritual of affordability, a nickel's worth of joy for Depression-era kids grown into families. At its peak, over 230 locations served up that simple ritual across the Midwest and East Coast. But the 1970s brought shadows. A bitter lawsuit with rival White Castle sapped their spirit, and they couldn't keep pace with the flashy drive-thrus of the new era. Locations dwindled, conversions happened quietly, and by the 1990s, the last tower stood empty, echoes of a time when a dime bought dinner and dreams. Shifting from those urban outposts to the open road, Howard Johnson's was the beacon every family chased on those endless interstates. Launched in 1925, but exploding in the 1960s, it painted America orange with its iconic roofs and turrets, like fairy tale inns for the automobile age. Who doesn't recall the pull-off, tires crunching gravel, and stepping into that cool hush where fried clams arrive, golden and crisp, their briny tang mingling with the sweet allure of 28 flavors of ice cream, maybe a scoop of butter crunch melting slow on a sugar cone, licked under the glow of a jukebox crooning hits of the day. It was wholesome Americana, a safe harbor with 1,000 spots at its 1970s height, from sea to shining sea. Yet, as the decades turned, motel chains muscled in, and mismanagement frayed the edges. Franchise squabbles, outdated menus heavy on the fried. By the 1980s, sales to bigger players chipped away the empire, leaving just a handful of motels whispering the name and a longing for those orange-roofed nights. And oh, the warmth of Lum's, where steam was the secret to every bite. This Florida-born chain, starting in 1956 in Miami Beach, turned hot dogs into a spectacle in the 1960s heyday. Imagine pulling up to a low-slung building aglow with script signage, the air thick with the yeasty fog of beer, soaked Franks tumbling in vats. You'd watch them bob, then emerge plump and snappy on a bun slathered with sauerkraut, that hoppy mist clinging to your clothes like a badge of the evening. It was casual family fare, with 400 locations at its 1972 peak, drawing crowds for the novelty and the relish trays that kicked off every meal. But ambition outran appetite. Overzealous franchising led to uneven quality, And by 1982, bankruptcy steamed the last locations closed. Acquired and rebranded, Lum's faded into footnotes, a ghost of those misty, merry suppers. From steamy dogs to barn-raising burgers, the Red Barn evoked the heartland in every bite. Founded in 1961 in Springfield, Ohio, it sprouted those unmistakable red and white barns across 22 states by the 1970s, peaking at around 400 spots, a whimsical twist on fast food, like eating in a storybook farm. You'd push through the Dutch door, the scent of charred onions wrapping around you, and sink into a booth with a big Barney, 2 patties, special sauce oozing tangy and sweet. The bun toasted just enough to crunch softly against your teeth. It was playful nostalgia, with kids' meals and drive-up service that made weekends feel like festivals. Yet, a 1967 sale to Litton Industries soured the milk. Corporate meddling ignored the charm. Competition from Golden Arches loomed, and by the 1980s, barns stood shuttered, their red paint peeling like forgotten promises. The chain dismantled piece by piece. Speaking of arches that endured, Burger Chef dared to challenge them in the 1960s swing. Opening in 1954 in Indianapolis, it flipped into second place by 1973. With 1050 locations, a sleek rival to the Clown's empire. Remember the drive and buzz, car hops in crisp uniforms, delivering the Funburger double meat, cheese melting gooey over pickles that popped with briny snap, all wrapped in paper that crinkled like a secret shared? The air hummed with grill smoke and fryer sizzle, and those indoor play areas turned meals into mischief. It was innovative joy, the first to broil burgers on conveyor belts for that perfect sear. But ownership woes crept in. General Foods bought it in 1968, mismanaged the magic, and sold to Hardee's in 1982. Conversions erased the chef's hat, and by 1996 the last grills cooled, leaving us with menus that once made Tuesdays triumphant. Out west, Pupnin Taco added a sunny twist to the mix, launching in 1956 in Long Beach, California. By the 1970s, its 100-plus drive-thrus stretched through the Southwest, a hybrid haven where tacos met dogs in paper boats under palm-shaded awnings. Picture the evening haze, ordering a pastrami special smoky slices piled high on rye, dripping au juice that you'd dab with fries, the tangy bite of mustard lingering on your tongue like a beachside kiss. It was SoCal casual, with carside trays and root beer floats that fizzed cold against the heat. Affordable and eclectic, it fed the drive and crowd faithfully. Then came the 1984 buyout. Taco Bell snapped up 99 prime spots for $50 million, bulldozing the pups to build their bell. A few holdouts lingered in New Mexico, but the taco pups' bark faded, a casualty of real estate roulette. Across the country, Arthur Treacher's brought a taste of the old sod to the colonies. Debuting in 1969 in Columbus, Ohio, it fried up British fish and chips across 800 locations by the mid-1970s. A tartan-tinted escape in strip malls. You'd queue for the cod, batter crackling hot from the oil, flaking to reveal flaky white flesh doused in malt vinegar that stung sharp and satisfying. Paired with chips mushy soft in the middle, the vinegar's fog curling up like London mist. It was authentic ritual, endorsed by the actor himself, evoking rainy afternoons abroad. But the 1980s tides turned. Cod prices soared with overfishing, health trends shunned the fry, and bankruptcies battered the fleet. Now just a dozen outposts limp on, their accents thinned, reminding us of feasts that once bridged oceans. Pancakes bring us to Sambo's, a name that stirs complicated memories from its 1957 start in Santa Barbara. At its 1979 peak, 1117 spots blanketed 47 states. A breakfast empire with tiger-striped walls and storybook charm. Families lingered over tiger butter creamy, spread on fluffy flapjacks, stacked high. Syrup pooling golden and warm. The butter's nutty melt, a small dawn ritual amid the clatter of plates. It was affordable wholesomeness, drawing crowds for the value and the vibe. Yet the name and illustrations, drawn from a children's tale, drew fire in the 1980s civil rights era. Protests over perceived racism led to boycotts and renamings that couldn't stem the tide. Bankruptcy hit in 1981, and by 1985, the last doors closed, a poignant fade amid shifting stories we tell ourselves. For heartier fare, steak and ale carved its niche in 1966. Dallas, pioneering casual steakhouse bliss with 200 locations by the 1980s. Dim-lit rooms hummed with clinking glasses, where you'd start at the endless salad bar, crisp romaine tossed with house dressing tangy as summer rain. Then await your sirloin, seared rare and juicy, the char's smoky whisper rising with every knife cut. Beer flowed free, making dinners feel like celebrations. It was upscale without the stuffiness, a date night staple. But the 2000s recession gnawed deep. Outdated concepts clashed with health kicks and fast casual rivals, leading to 2008 bankruptcy and total closure. Revived in spots since 2024, it whispers back, but the ale's poor tastes of what we let slip away. Finally, Chi-Chi's danced in during the 1975 Minnesota launch, but its Tex-Mex flair echoed the 1960s border-crossing spirit, peaking at 200 spots in the 1990s. Festive haciendas brimmed with mariachi tapes and free chips, salsa's fiery kick warming your lips as you dip, the crunch echoing like laughter. Before empanadas arrived flaky and spiced, cheese oozing molten gold. It was party in a platter joy, birthdays ablaze with sombrero hats. Then, tragedy struck, a 2003 hepatitis A outbreak from tainted onions sickened hundreds, shattering trust and triggering bankruptcy in 2004. Locations shuttered overnight, the panada burst, leaving a sharp sting amid the spice we once savored. As we pull away from these faded signs, it's like folding up the map from a trip that shaped you, the places that fed not just your body, but the rhythm of growing up American. They remind us how fleeting the familiar can be, how one bad turn or changing wind can dim the lights on what felt eternal. Which of these tugs at your sleeve? A White Tower walk after school, or a Howard Johnson Sunday shared with grandparents? Drop a comment below. Let's keep their stories alive a little longer. Thanks for joining the drive down memory lane. Hit subscribe if you're chasing more echoes of yesterday. Until next time, keep an eye out for those old orange roofs.